Same person that killed Karen and David did this. We got a psychopath living with us. We gotta find him, Rick. And I'm not gonna sleep until we do.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. I hope you guys have all had an awesome holiday week so far. I've been doing so many Sherlock and Doctor Who videos that I didn't want to let New Year's creep by without inviting walkers to the party. We just got some news that there's going to be one more major character death in the second half of Season 4, so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to try and narrow down who it's going to be. To be clear, this isn't coming right away, but it is coming before the actual season finale. It'll be really hard to top the two big deaths that happened during episode 8, but it does help us narrow down the choices just a little bit. Big heads up too, if you haven't seen my Game of Thrones kill list video yet, I'm doing a contest to try and guess, each week who's going to be dying on the show and which order. I'm going to be doing the exact same thing for Walking Dead, but I'm going to post a separate video kind of explaining how that's going to work before the show comes back. Be sure to subscribe to participate. Also, careful for spoilers in this video. We're going to have to talk a little bit about the comic books, and it's a bit of a Game of Thrones situation where things change from the book to the show. So here's my top 5 pieces of evidence about who this next WTF death is going to be. Number 1, who is safe? Let's talk about who it's not going to be first, and that is Daryl Dixon. Everyone breathe a sigh of relief. Norman Reedus already talked about how excited he was to get back and start filming Season 5, meaning he is definitely returning. Number 2, the biggest person who was not in the comic books. The biggest character who is not in the comic books is Beth, but based on the evidence in my number 4 and number 5 points, I think that she's much lower on the potential kill list than other characters. Number 3, who was feeding the rats? They didn't resolve the issue of who was feeding the rats in the prison, but they're going to pick that back up during the second half of Season 4. The best theory I've seen so far is that it was Lizzie. Tyrese actually theorized that the same person who was feeding those rats killed Karen and David. And here's where Carol comes back into the story. Number 4, Carol versus Tyrese. Carol is coming back. We don't know which episode, but we do know that she'll be meeting up with Tyrese's group. Remember, he ran off into the woods with Lizzie and her friends, and most likely baby Judith too. We know that no one ever told Tyrese about Carol confessing to killing Karen and David, but what if Carol was just covering for Lizzie? What would Tyrese do if he discovered the truth and it turned out to be Lizzie? He probably wouldn't kill her, but he would try to get rid of her. And Carol would do anything to save Lizzie, like killing Tyrese to prevent him from hurting her or sending her away. Number 5, it's someone who's still alive in the comic books. It's an unconfirmed rumor, but the biggest characters in the show that are still alive in the comic books include Rick, Carl, Maggie, and Michonne. Of all those people, the most heartbreaking death I could imagine would be Maggie. Plus, there's some really strong evidence that she's leaving the show, including the fact that Lauren Cohan wasn't spotted on set when they were shooting the second half of the coming episodes this next year, and she hasn't been very active on Twitter lately, which is very unusual for her. All these signs point to her either dying or going on a long trip off camera somewhere around episode 12 or 13. So the whole business with the rats, Lizzie, Tyrese, and Carol could be misdirection for the death of someone very unexpected, say like Maggie. So based on that evidence, here's my list of people who I think it's going to be from most likely to least likely, starting with Maggie, Tyrese, Lizzie, Carol, Michonne, Rick, and Carl. Let me know based on that evidence whether or not you think it's going to be Maggie who's going to be the next big character to die on the show, or if you think it's going to be someone else. Next week there are actually a couple new shows coming back, including Sherlock Series 3, Community Season 5, and my anime club that's starting on Saturday. So once we get past that, I'll do a video explaining how my Walking Dead kill list show is going to work. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. Don't forget, I'm also giving away a $20 gift card to a random subscriber in the comments to this video, even though technically it's not a Hulak video. If you haven't won anything so far, don't worry, I'll be giving away something once a week during Anime Club too. That'll be every Saturday. Right now, click here to get my top 10 predictions for Walking Dead next year, and click here to start getting ready for Sherlock Series 3. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.